Marley and Alan changed the hair and wardrobe into a much gnarlier aesthetic to contrast against the natural vibe of our first look. Some advice I give to all portrait photographers is if you're photographing all of your subjects the same way all the time, you're actually doing them a disservice. Humans are complex, and inside each one of us is a person who deserves to be captured in beautiful natural light. But there's also a person who deserves to be backlit with gels like a rock star, or photographed from a low side angle with a killer profile light. Even though we often wear masks that show a part of us, we actually have a lot of other parts, and everyone experiences the full gamut of human emotion. And as photographers, we can draw out and dignify those hidden parts of our clients with how we choose to pair lighting and posing and wardrobe on our photo shoots. Ultimately, we are documentarians of truth, and the more that we can show the breadth of our clients' humanity, the better service that is for both themselves and their loved ones. I keep coming back to this, like I'm in Sky Mall. Here's my first test shot from our next outfit, just to show you what a beauty dish looks like, straight up, unbaffled, and ungridded. It casts a nice, even, specular light on everything, and it gives a nice shadow on the paper behind Marley. Knowing I want to add color to this shot to make it more interesting, I went ahead and added a grid to my beauty dish. If you've ever played with gels on a photo shoot and it didn't go well, chances are your photo was overly lit, because color shows up best in areas of shadow where it doesn't have to compete against other light sources. Here's an example from a different shoot showing how a gridded beauty dish creates a dramatic subject light that can draw attention to their face while leaving plenty of shadows to be filled with color. I next added a teal light from below to fill the frontal shadows, and then I added complementary orange kickers from behind my subject to fill the image with a vivid color. Here's what the grid looks like on Marley. I closed my blinds so I could add a second light to our setup, this time a constant light, a Godox Lightmons RGB LED, and I set the color to green to match the dress. I used a constant light for my color so that I could open up my shutter speed and it would turn into an ambient light that would create motion blur that then I could contrast with freezing the subject with flash. Here's where experimentation begins, because the best camera settings vary on the speed of the movement you're trying to capture and the brightness of the ambient light and the colors at play. I started by taking some exposures without flash to find an amount of blur I found pleasing, and then I added my flashback on top of that to freeze the peak of the action. Here's what it looked like at 1 second. Out of desire to show off these really cool braids, I moved my flash to be above Marley, and I had her do a hair flip with upward motion to try and make those braids fly through the air. Then to mix it up, we turned the LED to red, and I switched from Marley movement to camera movement. I zoomed my lens in and out, and I implemented some camera shake just to see what that would do on camera. My favorite shot here was this profile shot, because the flash beautifully froze Marley's face in clean color while the back of her body cascaded into a red motion blur. This is a technique exclusive to still photography because it allows us to combine elongated time with frozen time, and it's a very cool technique for fashion images.